Older than life itself, some of Canada's rocks have borne witness to 4 billion years, while forests stretch across a continent. Gravity bends perception, and lakes let you float as if by magic. Canada isn't just vast, it's home to geography facts so extreme, most people never hear them. What secrets do these landscapes hold, and how will they change what you think is possible? In the far reaches of northern Quebec, geologist Jonathan O'Neill stepped out of a helicopter and into a world few have ever seen. Here in the Nouveau-Gétup greenstone belt, the ground beneath his boots was older than life itself. These rocks, battered by 4 billion years of wind and ice, date back to a time when Earth was still young, just 600 million years after the planet first formed. O'Neill's team braved temperature swings of 40 degrees and the constant risk of polar bears, collecting samples that would challenge everything scientists thought they knew about our planet's beginnings. The true age of these stones sparked fierce debate. Some methods, like uranium-lead dating, clocked the cross-cutting gabbro dikes at 4.16 billion years. Others, using rare isotopes like samarium and neodymium, pushed the timeline even further, up to 4.28 billion years. That is older than most of the crust on Earth, and it predates the oldest known fossils by hundreds of millions of years. While experts still argue over the details, one thing is certain: these ancient rocks hold the secrets of Earth's earliest days, locked away on the edge of Hudson Bay. Yet Canada's extremes are not just buried in deep time, they also play tricks on the senses. In New Brunswick, a quiet road near Moncton has left visitors scratching their heads for nearly a century. Magnetic Hill looks like an ordinary stretch of pavement at the base of Lutz Mountain. But when drivers shift their cars into neutral, something strange happens. The vehicle starts to roll, apparently uphill, defying gravity for nearly a kilometre. The secret is not magnetism, but the landscape itself. The horizon disappears behind wooded slopes, and the true downhill grade is hidden from view. Without a clear reference, the brain gets fooled. What seems like an uphill climb is actually a gentle descent. Back in 1933, local farmer Lou Spires wrote to the newspaper about horses and wagons that seemed to pull themselves up the hill. Within days, crowds lined up to see the illusion for themselves, and Moncton City Council soon paved the road and started charging admission. Today, Magnetic Hill draws more than 100,000 visitors a year, each eager to experience this roadside illusion where perception bends as easily as the laws of physics. From the oldest rocks on Earth to a hill that tricks the eye, Canada's geography swings from the dawn of time to the playful edge of human experience. But the surprises do not stop there. Next come waters so strange, even gravity cannot keep you down. On the open prairies of Saskatchewan, a small turquoise lake shimmers under the sun. Little Manitou Lake may look ordinary at first glance, but its waters hold a secret. With a salt concentration of 300 grams per litre, 5 times that of the ocean, this lake lets bathers float as if weightless. People come from across Canada to bob on the surface, their bodies refusing to sink no matter how hard they try. The mineral-rich mud is said to soothe aches and skin conditions, a tradition carried on for generations. Even during droughts, the lake's high salinity keeps it from drying out, preserving its strange buoyancy year after year. West in British Columbia's Okanagan Valley, summer heat brings a different spectacle. As the water in Spotted Lake evaporates, it leaves behind hundreds of round, colourful pools, yellow, green and blue, each one brimming with minerals like magnesium sulfate and calcium. The lake transforms into a natural mosaic, a patchwork of polka dots stretching across the valley floor. For the Syilx people, this place is more than a curiosity. Known as Kliluk, it is a sacred site used for healing and ceremony. The land's guardians fought for decades to protect it from mining and tourism, finally reclaiming stewardship in 2001. Today, access is limited and visitors view the lake from a respectful distance, honouring both its beauty and its deep cultural meaning. Stretching from Newfoundland all the way to the Yukon, the boreal forest forms a living corridor across the continent. Covering nearly 2.7 million square kilometres, it is one of the largest intact forests on Earth, home to wolves, caribou and billions of migratory birds, but the boreal's true power lies underground. Its soils and peatlands lock away an estimated 200 billion tons of carbon, more than all the world's tropical rainforests combined. In recent years, wildfires have burned record areas, sometimes releasing more carbon in a single season than all of Canada's cars. Even so, the forest endures as a vast green shield, filtering the air and shaping the climate far beyond its borders. From floating lakes to sacred mosaics to endless woods, Canada's geography never runs out of surprises. Each one is a reminder that the land here is alive, changing and full of wonders that challenge what we think is possible. High above the glaciers of the Yukon, Mount Logan rises with a force that refuses to rest. At 5,959 metres, it stands as the tallest peak in Canada, and it isn't finished yet. GPS and satellite surveys from 2023 reveal Logan is still climbing, gaining about 1.5 millimetres each year. That is the result of tectonic plates grinding together far below, pushing the St. Elias Mountains skyward while the rest of the world wears down. Climbers who reach the summit talk about a mountain that feels alive. Bernadette MacDonald, who chronicled an expedition in her book, described it simply: Logan breathes, a tectonic pulse underfoot. But where the land rises, water spreads. Canada is a country defined by its lakes, over 2 million of them, more than anywhere else on Earth. These lakes, carved by ancient glaciers and fed by mountain meltwater, account for a staggering 60% of the world's natural lakes. Some are no bigger than a backyard pond. Others, like Great Bear Lake in the Northwest Territories, stretch for thousands of square kilometres. Taken together, Canada's lakes hold about 20% of the planet's surface fresh water, a resource so vast it shapes weather, wildlife, and even the rhythms of daily life. From the snowmelt that trickles off Logan's slopes to the endless blue dots scattered across the map, water is as much a part of Canada's geography as any mountain or forest. The land climbs higher, the lakes spread wider, and the scale of it all is almost impossible to imagine. On Lake Huron, a landform breaks every rule of geography textbooks. Manitoulin Island covers 2,766 square kilometres, making it the largest freshwater island on the planet. But the real twist comes from its interior, where more than 100 lakes are scattered across forests and fields. Some of those lakes, like Lake Manitou, are vast enough to have islands of their own. On Treasure Island, a small patch of land sits inside a lake, which itself rests on an island floating in one of the world's great lakes, a nesting doll of water and land that seems to go on forever. Far to the north, the land drops away in a way that almost defies belief. Mount Thor on Baffin Island is a granite giant with a face that plunges 1,250 metres straight down. The cliff overhangs at an average angle of 105 degrees, making it the steepest vertical drop on Earth. Climbers stare over the edge and see nothing but empty space beneath their boots. A stone dropped from the top would not hit the ground for 26 seconds. Since the first ascent in 1965, Mount Thor has drawn daredevils and dreamers, some attempting the world's wildest base jumps, others testing the limits of human courage. In recent years, safety rules have tightened, but the legend of Thor's abyss still calls to those who crave the edge. But even Thor's dizzying drop is just a ripple compared to what comes next. Canada's coastline stretches for 243,000 kilometres, longer than the coasts of every other country on Earth combined. It winds around 52,000 islands, dips into 3 different oceans, and traces a path so intricate that even modern satellites struggle to measure it all. If you tried to walk the shoreline at a brisk pace, it would take more than 30 years without a single day off. The coastline's twists and turns, carved by ice, tides and time, create a border that seems almost infinite, a final breathtaking reminder that Canada is not just big, it is boundless. Canada's wild extremes aren't just trivia, they shape climate, water security and global biodiversity right now. As wildfires, melting ice, and resource debates intensify, the land's limits still test us. The next chapter of these wonders depends on how we protect them today. What surprised you most?